Ladies, gentlemen, and Vault Hunters of all ages, it's Thursday, and that means it's time for your weekly refresh in Borderlands 4. As a part of this, we have a new weekly wildcard mission, weekly extra big encore boss for higher than average drop rates, and a new location for Maurice's black market vending machine, so you can get a guaranteed legendary for minimal effort and just a little bit of cash. Alongside this, there are continuous performance fixes for the game and information from the developers being communicated over social media, so let's round up everything going on with Borderlands 4 right now. Starting off with the weekly gameplay relevant stuff, the wildcard mission this week is Wrath of the Ripper Queen, which is the opening mission for the Carcadia Burns region, a relatively quick and easy one this week, all things said and done, not even a proper boss in it. The modifiers for the enemies in this are shielded, fortified, and strong, so a fair bit tankier in a couple of different ways, and most importantly, the actual reward from completing this mission is the Symmetry Legendary Order Sniper Rifle, which fires ammo from its reserves while you charge, which is a pretty solid legendary effect, so if you want this sniper rifle, do this mission. Next up, we've got the big extra large Moxxi Encore machine that you can shove Iridium into for a harder version of the boss that drops higher quality rewards, including a higher legendary drop rate, and this week it is the Core Observer. This is the boss of the Order Bunker over here on the western side of the Fadefields region. His dedicated drop pool legendaries are the Divided Focus TDR Assault Rifle, which fires bouncing and piercing projectiles, the Defibrillator Rep Kit, which has a chance to refund a charge when you go below half health, and then also the Bully Order Pistol, which launches off an attack drone companion when you aim down sights every once in a while. So if you want any one of these legendaries, this is the week to farm for them. Then we've got our Maurice Black Market vending machine, which moves around every week, and we don't know where it is quite yet at the time of making this video, but it will be pinned in the comments down below the video as soon as we are aware where it is, so you will know as well. And that does it for all the weekly stuff, so let's instead talk about what's been going on over the course of the last few days. First up, there was also a patch that dropped today. It was about 95% bug fixes the whole way down, including some fixes for certain skill tree nodes for different Vault Hunters that weren't working correctly before, but now are. But there were a few key balance changes in this. Hellwalker will now always spawn as a fire weapon, TDR weapons got buffed across the board, and the Lucky Clover Legendary got a fire rate boost, as well as the Fisheye Legendary getting a damage boost. One other big, main notable thing about this is that this is the patch that adds FOV sliders to console. That's the field of view slider, so if you are playing the game on console, congratulations on your freedom and increased control of how the game looks. As for what's been going on outside of the game, let's just get right to the codes then. Here they are on your screen. These three are new shift codes that will be active for around 1 day after this video goes up before they expire, so get them while they're hot, and we'll have these typed out below the video too, so you can just copy and paste it if you are playing on PC. We've also got these three shift codes, which are not new, but have no expiration date, so I always bring them up for people who haven't seen the other videos. And then this old key as well is for the Break Free Cosmetic Pack that also comes with a free legendary shield. Past that, we've got only a couple of things from the developers over the last couple of days, but both of them are quite impactful and definitely important. First and foremost, a post from the creative director for Borderlands 4 about their balancing ethos for the game moving forwards. This says a lot of good things about what we have to come as far as I'm concerned. Specifically, the post says that they have seen talk about builds that use unintended interactions, and also the crit knife. I do find it funny that he mentions both these things in the same breath, but then he says that they are not going to act on these things immediately. Instead, they are focusing first on buffing the things that feel comparatively weak. This doesn't mean that they will never do nerfs, that they won't nerf things like the crit knife, but their mentality is to buff the weak stuff before they nerf the strong stuff, and that is almost always the correct decision as far as I'm concerned. Nerfs often lower the fun for players who are using the things that got nerfed, so the best way to make these nerfs less offending is to entice players into playing other new things first, to make other potentially more enjoyable playstyles be strong enough to get people interested in them. And then there are more places to go, more options to use, when the really broken stuff does eventually get taken down. There are of course a lot of responses to this message about game performance. I'm sure we'll have comments under this video saying how it's crazy they're focusing on balance instead of performance as well, but the thing that I want to make very clear is in almost any game development scenario studio that isn't like a really small indie studio, the people who are working on fixing and optimizing performance for the game will not be the same people who are in charge of game balance. They are separate entities. It's just an entirely different job. That said, with this tweet, I think we can assume there will be a balance patch happening relatively soon, that it is in the works already, and they probably already know what they want to do in this patch too. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the next week or two we see an actual proper patch that affects game balance, and if they stay true to this post, then it will be fully positive things that make the weak stuff stronger and nothing that limits the player fun. So especially as someone who loves putting together builds for the hardest content in the game, that is something that I find quite exciting. The other big bit of news is directly from the main Borderlands social media accounts, which is that the game is being delayed on the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm sure most, if not all of you that are watching this already own the game. It's like the main reason this video would be relevant to you, but this is still very relevant news about the game regardless, because as a part of this statement, they also mentioned that they want to realign the release with the addition of cross-platform saves to the game, which they are apparently actively working on. This is an awesome feature. It's something that I was sad to find wasn't a thing at launch, and for those who don't know, it's just the ability to load up the same save on different copies of the game on different platforms. So let's say that you want to play on PC sometimes, but on console some other times. With this system in place, you could have the same save and progress between the multiple versions of the game, and this is of course important for the Nintendo Switch version too, as the Switch will be the portable version of Borderlands 4, releasing after the initial launch, so theoretically they would expect people to have already played the game on their main system, and the best chance that they have of getting people to buy a second copy is if their progress carries over. But regardless, it's a good feature that we now know they are actively working on implementing for this game, which hopefully means it will also work between all of the already existing versions as well. I will also mention for those interested that they specified the main reason for the delayed launch on the Switch 2 version is that it just needs more development and polish. This likely means it's a performance thing, and considering the issues that people have had with how the game runs on much more powerful machines than the Switch 2, I can see why they would want to really just head off that issue at the pass and try and get ahead of it. Not to mention the travesty that was Borderlands 3 on the original Nintendo Switch. I never played that myself, but I heard horror stories of how it was just absolutely awful. It did not run in the slightest, at least until they applied a couple of patches that fixed it up a decent amount. So as someone who would love to have a portable option to play Borderlands on the go if I feel like it, I'm glad they are at least willing to delay the launch of this for the sake of applying some better quality here. That just about does it for today then, everyone. Your roundup of what's going on this week, the new changes in the weekly in-game content, new shift code straight from the mouth of Randy Pitchford himself, and some meaty information from the devs about the balancing plans for the game moving forwards, as well as some information related to the delay of the launch for the Switch 2. I hope you've all enjoyed this, and leave your own thoughts on any of this stuff down in the comments below. Like if you liked the video, subscribe with the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, I'm the conductor of the poop train! Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.